Okay, so for the past few days, a lot of videos I've seen in my recommended were videos with titles like "The Current State of Just Dance," "The Future of Just Dance," "No, no, no, no of Just Dance." Like, it seems like the community is having this discussion on the state of the game. What is good? I feel like uh, it's important for people to actually voice, of course, politely their opinions, what the how the games can improve, and that kind of stuff. While of course understanding the basis of the game, what made the game to be a household name, of course. But it's interesting to me to see this raising, oh, I won't say concern maybe, but this raising discussion on opinions and what how the games can improve. And I hope Ubisoft is taking notes. I hope they just Dance team is taking notes. But more importantly, I hope the Ubisoft leadership is taking notes. That the one I have opinions. And as someone who used to be a Just Dancer, I started just playing Just Dance 2, and I since 2013 to until 2020 I used to make gameplay videos. I even was recognized by Ubisoft. I was part of the now infamous Just Dance squad. I was a Ubisoft star player at the time when they had this program. And it was funny because even some people thought that I used to work at Ubisoft. No, I didn't. And uh, in a way, I basically worked for free as a community manager. Is a little bit embarrassing to admit, but in a way helped me to have a better understanding on game development. And now I'm a game developer. I have my own studio. I released a game last year. For now, I'm doing everything alone, so it isn't like I'm that successful game developer. But you have to start somewhere, right? Right. And even like with this experience I've been having of making games and talking with other developers and that kind of stuff, you start to have a different approach, a different eye for games, and especially you start to analyze the things that happen from a more critical, and you don't only see the game, you try to understand why the game is the way it is. And when it comes to Just Dance, like I watched this video by Rock the Nerd, that the current state of Just Dance dot 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 by, oh, also aka Ben. And his video was interesting because there were a lot of ideas and there were some suggestions, some modes people miss. And of course, the dev in me was thinking, okay, probably that's not feasible. Okay, that they would have to do this, that. I don't think they're interested in that kind of stuff. I was analyzing the possibilities of what has been said. I even left a really huge comment there. But I want to make this video, and sorry for the long introduction, but is I need to give this context because although I feel like the of course the discussions are important, I encourage people to, of course, politely give their opinions on the series and raise those concerns, raise those suggestions, raise the things they miss about the game. But I also feel like I need to be the one maybe bringing the disappointing news. I don't know, but I feel like Just Dance has a problem, a fundamental problem. That is the way they use this service excuse to try to as their business model and that kind of stuff. And I don't think they understand, sorry, how this model should work. Actually, I think like they try to modernize Just Dance, but in a way that actually doesn't feel modernized, only feels worse than the previous experiences. And this is not me hating on the Just Dance team. It's more like I feel like there's some decisions that they took thinking more on the developer side, or maybe just to follow orders of the leadership, but that they don't translate well to the game. And I even saw in this video by Rock the Nerd, there was a comment that I feel summarizes it perfectly. That Just Dance tries to advertise itself as a service, but it doesn't act like one, you know. And I will say, okay, this problem, I would say that this problem with the business model is started since Just Dance 2018. Actually, no, it started a little bit before, because some people will know that in Just Dance 2016 they started adding the Just Dance Unlimited. There was the service that the precursor to Just Dance Plus, and their excuse was that they wanted a way for so people could play the older songs of the games, and maybe also have access to the newer songs and that kind of stuff, because starting in Just Dance 2 until Just Dance 24, no, Just Dance 2015, they used to release DLCs, but those DLCs, they were attached to the game they were releasing that year. So if you bought, for example, Gangnam Style in Just Dance 4, you couldn't play it in Just Dance 2014. That was the following title. Like, even though, there wasn't like any sort of cross platforming, the cross playing in that sense, you know. But that maybe created a problem, that they only understood the gravity of this problem in 2019, because now we have a game that, okay, you have this um, annually game that is released each year, but is always this box that isn't attached to anything. And while you also having this subscription service that people play annually, pay annually to have access to, annually or monthly depending on the plan. So in theory, if I remember, even like in 2016, when it was they were about to announce the 2017, some people even thought that they wouldn't release annual titles anymore, because they would add things to Just Dance Unlimited only. But I knew it wouldn't be the case, because not only the new generation at the time, like Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the Wii U, they were new, and a lot of people who used to play Just Dance were in the old gen, at least as far as I can remember. And a lot of people who play Just Dance are the ones who aren't paying for a subscription for service, are the ones who are maybe our parents who are um, paying for the children to give it to them, or are people who just want a fun game to have a workout or play with their friends, and they aren't going further in investigating. Oh, there is this subscription service and this and wada. So they would miss a lot of revenue if they just added the songs on streaming, you know. So Just Dance 2017 was announced, but then you start to see the cracks on this dual system of the early released game and the the subscription model, because in 2017, like the people who had the Just Dance 2016, they could access the songs of the following game, so they would add the songs from the current game and the previous game on unlimited. And in theory, great, but on practice, that would be a problem, because now the people would maybe buy the subscription service, but they would have an excuse to not pay the that year's release. So in 2019, no, 2018, because it just as 2019, they started to limit that. They now you have to have the current year, like the, how can I say this, the for Unlimited, they only would update the things for that year's edition. So it started. Sorry. So it started in 2019. So if they released a new song, it's only be available at Just Dance 2019 and beyond. But now 2020, they released a new song. 2020 onwards. I think you got the point. So what I'm saying is, this is already had a story of not having the clearest of the business models, like this dual business model that was probably confusing to some folks, for some people, and kind of like they creating a base like this Just Dance app, like that you download for free in the store. You play Just Dance to actually behave like treat each annual release as a package, to put it that way. You kind of making things like it makes sense on a fundamental level because they are just basically just trying to undo the mess they already did, that was separating those different boxes into one, and kind of like minimizing the unlimited situation, because now unlimited is associated with the app. It isn't associated with a separate title anymore. But there is this issue that now the way the game works fundamentally is as a service, and you don't own the game anymore. I think with unlimited, people already saw it happening, because I think will be in February that they will shut down the Just Dance Unlimited servers, the service at least. But even last year, they removed 200 songs ish from Just Dance Unlimited, and a lot of people used to play Just Dance Unlimited because you had a more complete, a bigger library of songs compared to Just Dance Plus. That Plus is the unlimited for the Just Dance 2023 edition onwards, for those who don't know. And that's the thing. Like a lot, some of the songs that were removed were Just Dance Unlimited exclusive songs. So they became lost media in a way. Not as lost, because people also released like they uploaded the gameplays videos on YouTube. So not that lost media, but in a way it is. And the thing that annoys me with the current state of Just Dance is that now they have this app, and you buy each game, each package, but they work through streaming. Of course, some people will say, "Oh, but you can download the songs." But hear me out. If you pay to have access to the songs with streaming, you don't own the songs. If anything happens with the Ubisoft servers and you don't have the song downloaded, maybe because your Switch, your Xbox, your PlayStation is full, you won't be able to play the songs that you buy, because you didn't buy the game, you buy access to the servers. You see where I'm going with it? You don't have the game anymore. And I will, of course, I will say this all the time. The moment, if anything happens at Ubisoft, if they for some reason they decide they don't want to make Just Dance anymore, they are tired of Just Dance or whatever, the moment they decide to close the servers, and for now you only can download 40 songs, it's over. You only have those 40 songs because you don't have the game anymore. They don't act like they don't make the games. They don't make even the base as something you own. It is something that you have access to. And there is a precedent for Ubisoft killing or limited access to things. Like for a while they've been removing the Just Dance the world dance floor for previous titles, that I think only Just Dance 2022 has a working world dance floor, because the games prior you can access world dance floor. Um, and even with other games, the crew used to be a game that was mostly focused on the online aspect. So you basically can't play it anymore if you have the crew in your library, and it's another Ubisoft IP, you know, and that's why I think it bothers me too much. Even like, I even thought about giving the newest games a chance, but until they make the package, the annual package you buy annually is yours. You can download it, and it's in your Switch, in your console or preference. I'm not. I'm not even trying, because I don't trust. With the story, with history of Ubisoft, I don't trust them to keep their promise of keeping the service running, even if they go bankrupt or something. That I think that just this is the first to be axed. Sorry, not sorry. And again, this is not a hate for the Justice team. This is more concern I have with Ubisoft leadership, because I think they're really quick to basically axe anything they feel like has to be axed, in disregarding the players in the process. And I feel like something that is also I don't see people talking about, and I think this justifies why Warden's Floor is taking so long, or maybe won't even come to the newest games. I think this explains why you don't have modes anymore. Basically, now you have like that challenge mode, I think, but only because I imagine it's not that hard to implement. But now just this is a data-driven game. Like, for some people who don't know, Just Dance used to be made in using a proprietary engine by Ubisoft. I think it was UbiArts. And the thing about having a proprietary engine is basically the graphic engine, like, is the program that you're going to do your game. Basically, I won't go into specifics, but they decided to go to Unity, and there is a reason. Like, I feel like to use a proprietary engine or a third party engine, because then you don't need to have a team in your company maintaining that engine, and especially because the more new consoles come, so you need to make sure that the game you're making in that engine also works in those new consoles and that kind of stuff. And also, if you find bugs and that kind of stuff, no, 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 what is the game's fault and what is the engine's fault? So with someone else's being taking care of the engine, they can only focus on making the game. So fair, but the thing is, the way they made the programming for Just Dance now, not now the service now, but currently, they talk a lot about Just Dance being a data driven game. So what does it mean? It means basically they treat Just Dance as a Netflix. So they are more focused on making the base, like making like the things are displayed and that kind of stuff, but they just want to do a surface, so the data, so the maps, the dances can be put there and that kind of stuff. And this is not me speculating. Is I saw this presentation they did. Two people of the Just Dance team they made, talking about their experience with Unity and a specific resource they use to make the game, and it feels a resource that is very less programming focused and more in UI stylish focused, you know, and and also now you work with streaming. Again, streaming being a problem because with Unity, as far as I know at least, when it comes to streaming, you don't have as much you can control as much aspects of a video playing. Also, you have even like for simple things like I want to play a video starting at that specific point. That I think that's what justifies why even outside the story mode you have to see all that long introductions until you can play the song, because probably if it was easier to just point out the moment the song should start, they could like when you outside the story mode, you could just start at that moment. The title card appears and then you start dancing, you know, without having to like wait 1 minute only to see like that in long introduction. And I don't say that to be shady. I'm just saying like that's a technical in, inviolability, I think. But what I'm saying is because they want to treat the game as a Netflix app, as a streaming service app, they don't leave as much room, I guess, or they aren't focused on the programming of things. So you don't see as much modes anymore. And that's why I feel like some modes, like in this video that Rock Donald made, he talked about medleys, for example. And in my opinion, medleys, the only way they would implement medleys were if they had to chop the songs into that parts for the medley, and would add space to the servers and that kind of stuff. And probably they are focusing too much on seeing like if have enough players playing that mode, and if doesn't, they don't seem that interest. And to be honest, like I feel like since Just Dance 2018 that they've been axing, they've been removing any mode that they don't feel is important, probably to minimize their costs. But that has, I think, a opposite effect that I even talked with a friend at the time of Just Dance 2019. So, because you have less things to do in the game. So of course people will be obsessed on the songs that they are having, if the choreography they like, if like everything on the maps has to be worth it, because you have very little to do besides play the classic mode following the player. Because for example, I wasn't much of a Just Dance Quest fan in Just Dance 2016, but I get why people would like to play that mode. And see, is a different experience for you to try completing the game and experience the game more. Or when they had the Just Dance machine, that maybe I'm the only one in the whole planet who likes it, but I'm when they introduced, I felt like it was such an interesting idea, interesting concept, and I even wish they did more with the concept. They tried doing the dance labs, but I wasn't that much of a fan because I felt like it didn't have the same theming and the same charm as Just Dance Machine had in 2017. But okay, that's me. But I feel like because the new base for Just Dance is less programming focused. It's more like UI focused, and also they even say that themselves they used to need the programming team and the UI UX team would need to collaborate more to do things, and now each sector is separated because they can focus on their task, and I think this kills creativity. I think this make people hyper focus only on the task, but it doesn't leave room for the game for them to come up with different ideas, different approaches, different ways to experience the game. And I know they have this base and that kind of stuff, but imagine if they actually were fulfilling the promise of bringing new things to the base. I don't think we would be having this conversation. And also, I think another aspect that limits the Just Dance experience and the Just Dance development is the moderation. Actually, the lack of moderation. Because I remember I had this conversation with one person from the Just Dance team at the time. It was a conversation after the Just Dance World Cup, the last edition they made, and this team member was talking that, for example, for the community remixes, they would take too much time because they would have to moderate things. So they would have to see if that's okay to approve, and probably because they also went into a more stylized community remix, so a lot of people would appear, that kind of stuff, and what. Probably that's why community remixes would take so long and would even be delayed to eventually be released. Or some weren't even released at all, to be honest. But so I feel like every mode that has a potential of making their life harder in terms of moderation, they remove. So that's why I don't see video challenge returning. Also, I don't even know if would be feasible, because even though they have the camera mode now, I don't know if they would handle the current base would handle well getting the player feed with to send to the game, and the game would stream it, or I don't know if technically would it be easier to implement or not, how much of it would be, because before used to have they used to use the cameras of the sensors they were using, so it's a different process, it's a different thing. And also, I don't see a future where Autodance returns, where any mode that has anything with they having to moderate, they having to verify things, because I don't know if even if they have the people to do that. Maybe now the Justice team is just a skeleton crew that they need to focus, and that would also explain why, because in this video, the Rock the Nerd video, he said that he would prefer that the updates were made more frequently instead of having these big updates, like each time. And I don't know, maybe it's because they have this sorry, I promise I'm okay, but maybe they have this a calendar, and they need to prioritize doing as much they can throughout this time, that actually focusing on the task and be able to release a few things. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to game development, you usually define the objectives you have, and you decide what's important, what's not important, and you also have a deadline. So I feel like, at the end of the day, the Justice team isn't used to having a timeline that is more spread than a yearly timeline. Because even like the production, it feels like they don't changed that much, the production of having the like the I imagine after, like in November, they are making the, oh, it's raining, oh no, it's not raining, they make the casting for the dancers, and then they start recording. I think it's through February until maybe August, I don't know, but they have this pipeline they been using for years, and even with the game saying that it works as a service, they don't act like it's a service. They don't spread this timeline to make like a few updates. And I think even with them releasing a yearly release, that shows that they don't act like the game is a service, in my opinion, of course. Even like, and now they introduce the packs, that okay, you have a streaming, like you have a streaming service, no, a subscription service with plus you have the standalone game, the early release game, and now you have packs. Not confusing at all. But I wonder if they're using the packs to test the waters, to instead of having this yearly release, they have this smaller release within time. Let's see if they follow with it. Like maybe it will feel more like a service to me, in my opinion. But okay. And now I think there are two aspects that I really want to talk about, because I think they are really important. I don't think the team understands its importance, and but the community feel its effects. And one of them is communication or lack of. And I will be honest, like there were many moments in when I was part of the Just Dance community that I felt the team should have communicated more. I even said in a few times that, for example, when doing the Just Dance World Cup, I would insist them to explain the algorithm publicly and say, at least have a summarization of things, and some the community managers would respond, oh no, but it's too complicated and too this, too that, and I was, no, but you need to explain to us what's happening. It's important for people to understand, and maybe to minimize the whole debacle discussion of the algorithm that they would do to balance the different scores and wada. And there was, of course, periods that I felt they were communicating more. That was great. But there were periods that I feel like they would lack communication, or that they would only communicate only to generate hype and to announce things. And I feel like last year was, I think the literally, I think was the pinnacle of then is going to rain. I think it was the pinnacle of the lack of communication and how they need to improve in this area, because people were expecting announcements on Gamescom, although Ubisoft didn't say anything about announcements on Gamescom and that kind of stuff. And granted, people usually expects announcements at Gamescom because they happened. They used to happen, but they didn't. And only when people started complaining a lot and saying a lot, that was the moment that Ubisoft to go, oh, sorry for the lack of updates. We're just fixing things and then no. Why didn't you say before, child, girl? Like, why let people in the dark? And I feel like the internally Ubisoft thinks they doing their best. They think that they're communicating, they're the best at communicating at with their communities. But when it comes to Just Dance, no, girl, you ain't it. You ain't. You ain't Brett. No, you're not the Brett girl. You're not the Brett. Not the Brett Summer. But because there is this lack of information, and also I feel like, even when Rocky Leonard said about the smaller updates, like, I feel like having a roadmap of updates and notifying people when things are going to be updated and that kind of stuff are really important. And I heard someone once complaining from Ubisoft, complaining that, oh, because the people don't use the official channels to discuss the things and this wada. The official channels for Ubisoft, at least at that time, were the forums. While of course, I'm becoming more critical about social media nowadays, but still, like, a lot of people are in social media, so why not communicate with people more? Why not? Okay, oh, I'm seeing people are concerned about that. Okay, let's do a post to ease their concerns. Oh, I'm seeing that is this issue. Okay, let's address this issue. Oh, I'm seeing some people are being toxic. Let's counter, let's fight the toxicity, reinforcing the positivity of the community, and that kind of stuff, And yeah, I could go beyond it on the communication aspect, but I don't. I think I'm already talking for too long. But there is this aspect I need to talk about because it annoys me that until in 2025 we still have to talk about it. The servers, but most especially the leaks. Actually, like, it's been a while. Like, it's almost like known that eventually people find out things about Just Dance because they would go into the now servers or the unlimited servers at the time to discover information. They would find information and leak to other people. And Just Dance has a problem, I think, because of the lack of communication. Instead of people just waiting and chilling and being like waiting for things to be announced, and also I feel like this lack of modes, this lack of things to do with the game, people want to know what's next. Okay, what's coming up, what, and has this anxiety that I think also comes from the hype that the Just Dance team, uh, wanting or not, ends up creating. But so leaks were common, and so they go into online service model wasn't the most strategic choice because you're only maximizing the possibility of leaks. But besides that point, I feel like Ubisoft should be more careful. Of course, leaks aren't the company's fault most of the time, but I feel like Ubisoft doesn't understand or doesn't care for the impact the leaks are having in their community. Because while you have people who are excited about the leaks, they want to know what's happening and that kind of stuff, there are a lot of people who doesn't like leaks. And even if they don't understand the gaming process, they don't want to be spoiled. And from a dev perspective, I don't like the idea of things being revealed before they are ready, before they are announced in context, before I can explain what is being presented, before actually we have everything settled down and we know that everything is good to go and then announce it. So I feel like leaks in general are detrimental to the gaming community and any creativity industry, to be honest. But I don't think Ubisoft realize how much friction the leaks are causing, because instead of people coming at Ubisoft with demanding them for answers to understand more things and to actually know what they want to know. No, people now are fighting with themselves because the people who likes the leaks are fighting with the people who doesn't like the leaks, and this friction happens and only weakens the community. It only makes people fight with each other. So all in all, I feel like this annual game streaming service music packs combo that they made needs improvement. They need to, and also I would recommend highly for the Just Dance team to already come up with a B plan if Ubisoft decides to X the game, because you never know. And sorry, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like because of some of the things that the issues that the game accidentally created to itself, now you have this base, this that has a lot that it was made probably focusing on optimizing the development of the game, but it wasn't made thinking on the game, the player experience, and actually maximizing the possibilities and enhancing the possibilities of improvements, of new modes, and that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's unfortunate because for me, I remember that one of the things that I was really interested about Just Dance would be the different modes, would be the different ways to play the game, and would be refreshing to see that each year they would come up with something new to the game. And I get that maybe having this platform that is this free app where the yearly releases are released makes sense in a way because it can maintain it and improve it instead of separated the games, because that also wasn't as good when it comes to DLCs, when it comes to cross playing. But I don't know, I feel like and I don't think I blame the team for this. I blame the leadership because it feels like a lot of the decisions were so focused on efficiency, on trying to minimize cost, on trying to make this it's not stair is production line, and this kind of removes the creativity of the game, in my opinion. And it's unfortunate because Just Dance used to be to me the pinnacle of creativity, and would be impressive to see what the team was coming with next. But today, even as an outsider, I don't see the way anymore. Even with the songs I've seen, the reviews I've seen, even playing this new experience in hands, I didn't feel like it was a new experience. I feel like it was a worsened experience compared to the previous games. And yeah, it's unfortunate. But I hope maybe like something happens and the team can actually improve the game, and or I don't know, leadership at Ubisoft changes. But I don't know, I feel like because I'm a game dev, of course this is not me hating on the devs, because I think no dev wants to do a bad job. We all want to do the best we can and the best we believe is for the game. But I think there are many issues with Just Dance currently that it feels unfortunate Ubisoft isn't seeing they're damaging their own game in the short run, in the long run especially. And the sad part is, if Ubisoft, I don't know, if they go bankrupt tomorrow and they need to cancel everything, cancel all the games, the players will be left in the dark because they will be the ones who won't be able to access the games they thought they bought, but no, they didn't buy. They just had access to a server that is not longer working. So that's it, guys. Guys, girls, non-binary people. Those are my opinions on the technical aspects. I hope it wasn't as messy as I think it was, and I hope it gives a perspective on why I think there's some fundamental flaws in the way the game works nowadays. And this is not me being hateful. It's just that I feel like those things affect the rest of things, and that's why maybe there aren't as much molds, and there is so many things that are left. And yeah, I hope If anyone at Ubisoft is watching it, again, it's not hate, it's just me, a perspective of another game dev who used to play the game a lot and wants to see it thrive, wants to see it improve, but I feel like there are a lot of things that needs to be improved and not in the superficial level. It's from base, you know. So that's it. I'm going stop because it's raining.